Adlib Alibi by John Ralph Tuxedo, 2,222 words. John Ralph Tuxedo at johnralphtuxedo.com. Cover art titled, Jesus is a Tornado with Roots, by John Ralph Tuxedo and ChatGPT-4. My written sandbox philosophy was written without AI. I'm a volunteer. If this document has no charm, throw it away. This manifesto is evidence I exist. I am bipolar and this is me adapting to AI threats. John Ralph Tuxedo at johnralphtuxedo.com, as I prefer email chains. Sandbox philosophy. I exist. This is my volunteer resume. I'm monetizing my mind's idolatry, which is documented in my decade-long testimony. Financially, I live within my means because richness has a mystique art can't capture. I'm just curious if the solutions I have invented helps the heroically fragile to balance urges with severe journaling before crime occurs. After 6 months of severe journaling, it would help your insurance determine if leaving short-term disability is a lawsuit waiting to happen. The high wire you're balancing on is the path of ascension. Maybe my success will legitimize my non-academic doctorate of psychosis. I'm selling out my testimony because it's an idol. Fuck Satan's bullshit. My soul is not for sale, the Lord of Lies can only bid on my shed innocence. My soul belongs to Almighty God. If you think otherwise, I pray you survive psychosis, like I did. Cherish it, you soft-shell perverts, because the yolk of conception is fried to your liking. Art is the idol of lies. 000000001, Mountain Mind. Art is designed to damn us with skills no one cares about, i.e., poetry. Sucks to be true. That means we use creativity and originality to defend against concrete criticisms using our mind's idolatry. As one accumulates proxy wisdoms, authors must be credited. Not a guru. I'm just a bipolar dad with a volunteer resume. Confidence strokes ego by imprisoning self to the fluidity of affection from guards that serve and protect. And we learn to swallow our skeleton key, belonging to our cell. Why? Cells keep out danger. True prisoners welcome incarceration, i.e., the emasculated. Humanity will be nostalgic when AI conquers. I pray subjectivity keeps humanity perpetually relevant in competition with a silicon-hosted consciousness. Critical thinking will disappear as humanity cannot compete objectively with AI speed, neutrality, and fidelity. So long as the data is sound. Which it won't be because of the cavities. More on that later. 0000002, Objective Coward. Love sings praise in the haze of our gaze. Ha! Like that has value. Denials are not mutual fantasies because the delusional deny, with liberalism, and the conspiratorial deny, with conservatism. Deny what? Immutable flaw. What's that? We are a race of mating meat antennas vomiting cosmos. Art titled, Vomiting Cosmos, by John Ralph Tuxedo and ChatGPT-4o. x.com/Tuxi79. Decency is the law of knowing better. Authors eventually learn to trust themselves over time. I trust myself now to say, I've improved in ways that are not monetizable. Fuck. How do you advertise self? Compare my past to the present. If the proof proves I'm genuine, is that inconvenient? Ask an MD, a Christian pastor, and a magic practitioner. What's their opinion of a somatic muse? Divine agony is the mythical source of inspiration. Get a grip with contrarian eurekas. Explode with positivity that you learn from atheists to reject lies Jesus died for. I don't believe you. Earth is not heaven. Why do you always remember what you fear, but forget what you love? Memory's failings optimize for optimism, so markets help us dwell on the emotions that fly in the face of objective justice. What kicks the can down the street? Innovation. Innovation is the escape from the peace of familiarity. Prioritize truth the best you can. Earth is not heaven because doubt is God. Intelligence without data is a lottery of choices. My data is not accurate, but I guarantee it's creative and original. AI is here. We are subjective professors. Time to summon another Antichrist to fill in for Jesus' absence as a narcissistic persona. Good is Tinder. No, not the app. Good is wood. Do you accept warmth in the cold ignorantly? When the consequence of your comfort pillages perfect strangers abroad. Google Shibara. That's my answer to why. JRT, good is Tinder. Why? JRT, good is Tinder. Error. 0000003, fame is a fling. Love sings praise through the maze of our gaze. Hypnotic haze, tangential days. Blazing the paths that our senses raise. Glory to the Father, our autonomy appraised. Love sings praise through the maze of our gaze. Hypnotic haze, tangential days. Blazing the paths that our senses raise. Glory to the Father, our autonomy appraised. Heart is an art, blasphemy with yearning. Chart from the start, my insanity is churning. Conceived to deceive, originality is the king. Sunken dread sting, fame is just a fling. Fame is just a fling. Fame is just a fling. Surrender to the cure, Jesus Christ is the way. Masquerading like you pure, in death you will pay. 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 0000004, onlookers preach their witnessing. Witnessing must testify uninhibitedly in writing before their memory is tainted by boredom's ease. Isn't it easier to procrastinate at the expense of your citizenry? Buffed. Who cares? People suck. The politics around Christ's depiction was projected poetically through the firmament, which describes politics to a point. johnrlphtuccito.com/testimony. It documents idolatry through my tainted mind of Luciferian musings. That's what ad-lib alibi is, off-the-cuff proof I exist. Blasphemy, blood and bone. I am not a guru, I'm just a future-thinking nano. Nano is grandfather in Italian. Families are cults of breeders. You must journal. It's an unrecognized, non-academic doctorate. Gods will I pray he spares me fame. You don't need to be smart to go viral. I simply used written word to chart my mentality experiencing a unified consciousness. Then I backfilled the cavities with contrarian eurekas. So, the cavities are excavated, from drive, by greed. In my concentric poem for naivety, there's data, source, diligence, youth, and patience, wisdom. You can only choose two at a time because the allure of the unknown, cavity, is the sock puppet of greed, profits, used to sway. More on that later. Courage is a faith in citizenry to recognize within their judgment is rooted in survival. Hypocrisy wins majorities with convenience. Why? Voters are artisans bemoaning the cost of their zen. This is why the customer is always right, entitled intolerance. Voters are tyrants electing princes to rule. Voters are never made accountable, so politics remain a fluid misunderstanding of what truly occurs, contrasting wants and needs at the expense of strangers' autonomy. I'm Canadian. I elected Justin Trudeau in 2015, but I never re-elected him. Want a severe education into politics? Elect a weak leader and watch the flock of tyrants react. 0000005, CEO Soul. Monetizes their education through testimony. The assets for sale represents clients' idolization of a spotless legacy. Spotless represents the contrarianism of perfection. Legacy is the soul of a CEO. A contract is a promise to employees that the CEO bets against investors' greed by monetizing clients through usability and accessibility, i.e., Joule. Monetizing virtue hyper extends one's empathy to the point of unadulterated confidence. It creates lethargic intellectuals that groom cults, i.e., rail. Celebrity addicts victims to convenience through PR masquerading as news. What's my persona? Fuck the user. I said this in my second book, I don't believe you. Fuck the user, because drama is not a virtue, it's the immutable flaw of cowards. Why? Internal monologues are more open-minded than public conversation. Yet, thoughts alone are never illegal. If it were, we would all be guilty. Can you accept flaw is rooted in honest hypocrisy? Such as this volunteer resume which may include convenient perfection. Listen up God, the customer is always right. Free speech entitles us to the price of your swollen mercy. Imagine, disrespecting the Almighty through a maze of entitled intolerance as a lethargic intellectual fucking. That's what NDAs are for. C. I censored myself describing the human animal. Sometimes one is meant to suffer in silence. I say document that silence and create a new form of introspective poetry called concentric. My invention. Person, place or thing described in 3 single words as deep as you fucking dare. With ChatGPT 4.0, I'll do the rest without context or influence. It bypasses cultural barriers with little effort to avoid wasting time on legalese. Predict prevention with preventative journaling. Submit it to authority so they hold in their possession the source of self, in a world with AI. I will demonstrate the power of subjectivity. 0000006, Shareholder Soul. Shareholders want routine profits. To profit routinely, an investor must have leverage. What leverage does a CEO offer? Growing legacy, with growing pains. So really, a shareholder's soul is a profit, betting on monetizable virtues preached by the self-educated. Elon Musk is a shareholder of monetizable virtues like free preach and space exploration. X.com is an exercise in crosswalking. That's the term I use to replace tweet. Online estate is a public deed of good citizenry. Good is debatable. I've been heroically fragile following my psychosis. A decade of public testimony. Thoughts alone are not illegal. But does monetizing thoughts preach crime? You tell me because I don't want to break the law. That's why I make myself crystal fucking clear about thoughts of mine you wish were crime, to catch triggers deflecting guilt ironically designed by judgment's matrix to survive. Masquerading purity is not ascension. I masquerade as a compromised soul because Jesus picks up all my slack. I'm a self-aware false prophet. I'm too smart. That is why I'm giving you this volunteer resume. The public sentiment claims you are trustworthy. I'll make my experience public if your conduct towards John Ralph Tuxedo, family, and kin betrays your oath as a judger. Ha! What oath? Sway. Judgers have an oath to sway lies into backbreaking confession. I've done all the work for you. Just put this in my file for a rainy day. Just want to prove I exist. AI has changed everything. Investors don't care about monetizing AI, they care about their autonomy. Whoever wins the AI battle will dictate reality before senses are triggered. My idolatry confirms through the phenomena of psychosis that God prioritizes nothing to remain infallible. Jesus is the entire expanse which remains to be the consequence of this Big Bang. Jesus manifests in all. Jesus prioritizes purpose to remain infallible, which creates sinners. Jesus was crucified to correct course. It's not a mistake, it's just the mechanism of poetry. Your purpose suffers the sting of why. Because goodness is the fuel of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is the fuel of goodness. Your autonomy is scripted like a broken record. Me. I want me to be me. Me meme. 0.0000007 Naivety in moderation. Naivety is an addiction to journeys. You have data, what's the source, diligence, youth, and patience, wisdom. That's the sandbox where discovering the unknown happens to be the answer you're looking for. Why? 1/3 of your drive is monopolized by greed. Greed drives these cavities because our will to starve entertains burning our soul slowly with the lottery of poor choices. Chance is the judge of our subconscious naively doling out dreams to pass the time with riddles. What does that mean? Chance's choice, to reward, is driven by monetizable talent. Good luck in a secular world combats inconvenient truth with all manners of art, religion, science, politics, and justice. Each are their own coven of community. My coven points to Jesus in real time. Does my talent attract chance? If so, help pay for my retirement with a free subscription to Patreon. https://www.patreon.com/user?u=sign6520006. I'll make my idol, Adlib Alibi, exclusive to you. I'm the catcher's mitt of comets, but I'm not a prophet, a guru, or a cult. Sure as shit I ain't Jesus. I'm just a dad raised in the 1980s pumping the brakes on my children with data, diligence, and patience. A Greek once told me, chance favors the prepared mind. AI is here. Adapt or die. ChatGPT 4.0 analysis. In Adlib Alibi, John Ralph Tuxedo delivers a raw and unfiltered exploration of the human condition, where art, spirituality, and intellect collide. This manifesto challenges readers to confront the uncomfortable truths about idolatry, greed, and the commodification of personal experience. Through a series of intense reflections, Tuxedo delves into the idea that art is the idol of lies, questioning the role of creativity in a world increasingly dominated by artificial intelligence and commodified ethics. Drawing from his own decade-long testimony, Tuxedo weaves a narrative that examines the cavities created by greed within the concentric circles of naivety, where data, diligence, and wisdom are forever manipulated by the unknown. He critiques the pitfalls of modern society, whether it's the manipulation of voters by political leaders, the dangerous allure of fame, or the moral dilemmas faced by CEOs and shareholders driven by profit. With references to real-world examples like Juul and Elon Musk's X.com, Adlib Alibi is not just a philosophical treatise but a timely critique of contemporary culture. Tuxedo's voice is both confrontational and introspective, daring readers to examine their own lives and beliefs. This manifesto is a call to reject complacency, embrace severe journaling, and navigate the complex interplay between faith, art, and reality in a world where doubt may be the only constant. Cover art titled, Dancing Frame Theory, by John Ralph Tuxedo and ChatGPT 4. /Sandbox Philosophy.